Okay. Woo, feels weird sitting back down. It's been a week. Feels weird. Stephanie Bain, I have a books. I'm a book nerd. There's so many books. Hello everyone, Stephanie here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because this is just more for helping me for the end of the year. I swear the explanation totally just got jumbled up in my head. And I sound like a man because I got sicker when I was in San Francisco. So yay for, you know, Floridians not knowing how to deal with 65-degree weather. Especially where I was like here at home, it's in the 90s. So anyway, today's video, again, like I was saying, this is just something that helped me for at the end of the year when I need to talk about all the books that were my absolute favorites. I'm one of those complicated people that I can never just pick one thing. Like, oh, you asked me my favorite band and I'm going to give you a list of like 3 or 4. This is going to be my fave of the last 4, which is just every 4 months I'm going to talk about my favorite books, especially because I've been having a really good reading year this year. Like, everything I've read, I've enjoyed so much, whether it's a 3-star enjoyment or a 5-star enjoyment, which I've given quite a few 5 stars, and it's not because, oh, I just want to give everything 5 stars. It's because I've like genuinely loved everything I've been reading. So I'm going to start off with a few honorable mentions. First honorable mention I have here is I gave this a 4-star or something, but I have to talk about it because I feel like this book got some buzz when it first came out and then people just like stopped talking about it. And it's action-packed, it's gory, and it's so much fun. I'm reading the novellas for this, the first set of novellas, and I'm just like, oh, I can't wait to read the second book. But anyway, that is Endgame: The Calling by James Frey and Nils Johnson Shelton. This is just about, sorry if there's a glare, but this is a very shiny book. Okay, you can see it a little bit better there. This is just about a world where aliens came down thousands of years ago. They wanted, you know, the people they needed someone to get gold, so they colonized, they put families and like people on Earth, yada yada yada. And the thing is, they told them, we're gonna come back, and each of the 12 lines has to have 1 player ready, and between the ages of 13 and 19, and they have to be prepared because they're going to fight to the death in some ways, because there's absolutely no rules for this game. And they have to find 3 keys. Whoever finds the 3 keys first, well, their family line gets to survive the end of the world in some ways. It's action-packed, it's fast-paced, it's written in a way kind of like an action movie, which is something I really love of it because it has other aspects to it, but the action in this is really awesome. The fight scenes, like, it's just so badass. Like, I gave this, like, I think a 4.5, and I can't wait to read Sky Key, but this is the first honorable mention because, holy moly, it's really good. The second and third honorable mention is The Fifth Wave and the Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. These were, like, 4.5 star ratings for me. Oh, it's so good. It's just about the end of the world and aliens come and how they're getting rid of the population, the people, the human race in waves. What the first wave being, you know, taking away their electricity. Then there's the wave of like world destruction, of like natural destruction, you know, natural disasters. That's what I was trying to think of. But I loved the first book. I am one of the few, I think, that really, really loved the second book. Although it's like 10 times shorter. It was so good. Like, it was calmer and it was just a lot of build, and I'm just like, yes. But I really recommend it if you like sci-fis. It's totally prevented me from getting into a book hangover after Morning Star, but I recommend these if you haven't read them. They're popular for a reason, and the last book actually comes out at the end of this month, so these as well. The last honorable mention is a 5-star rating, but it just didn't make it to my top 5 because I had other books that were really, really good. And that is Wild Swans by Jessica Spotswood, which actually came out the beginning of this month. And it's just about a girl named Evie, however you want to call her. And she's from the Melbourne family. And the thing is the Melbourne family has had extraordinary women. And some people think it a devastating kind of extraordinary, or a, like, you know, the things that they could do, they're extraordinary. And it's just, you're looking into her life for a month or like a few weeks span, and like her family dynamic and stuff, and it is such a beautifully written contemporary. Like, I was not expecting it to be like so hard-hitting, but I think it's because Ivy's a very relatable character, and I highly recommend it. I still can't wait to get my physical copy. Like, I need to go pick that shit up like ASAP. And now on to the top 5. I know what the top 2 are. I'm still like debating. Okay. Coming in at number 5 is Into the Dim by Janet B. Taylor. It's a story about a girl named Taupe whose mother passes away, and she's contacted, her father's contacted by her aunt who lives in Scotland to go visit her after her mother's death and passing. So she goes there, but she finds out her mom's not actually dead, that she's 1,000 years in the past, and that she comes from a line of time travelers. I thought the time traveling aspect to this was really good. Some people thought it was a little like unclear, and I thought actually it was extremely clear. But something I do have to say is if you read a lot of like witch books or anything that has to do with paranormal where they talk about like ley lines and stuff, I feel like it won't be so hard for people to imagine how that works, the time traveling aspect to it. But it was fast paced. There is, and I've come to realize it's not insta love, it's like an insta attraction, but it takes such a backseat to like the adventure and the chaos that happens, and it takes you back to the time of Eleanor of Aquitaine, which is Henry II, and I love royalty. I'm obsessed with Henry VIII and like the Tudors and just that whole era and how fucked up it was. Number 4 on the list is actually a more recent finishing read of mine, but it was so good. And I've heard so many people give it like 3 stars. I'm like, no, but it's okay. Like, you don't have to like it. I just freaking loved it, but it's right up my alley, and that I just totally knocked my camera. This is The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead. It's about a girl named Adelaide who is a countess, and she wants to escape a I forgot. The words are escaping me today. Arranged marriage. Not it's an arranged marriage. And she wants to escape that, so she runs away to the Glittering Court, where the Glittering Court just takes in, women of lower classes or impoverished women who are beautiful, and they turn them into ladies. They have this year to learn etiquette and how to dance and how to eat and all these other things so they can blend in with upper class society, and then they take them from their home in Osford to Adoria, which is the new land, and they sell them there. And the women know, but they're given a chance to live a much better life than they would have if they stayed in Osford. I loved how fast-paced this book is, and that's something that a lot of people dislike. So if you don't like that about some books where it passes over a lot of time quickly, then this might not be for you. But I personally like that. I like that Rochelle Mead didn't waste time, because she could have dragged this on. This book alone could have been a trilogy. It flat out could have, so keep that in mind. But I personally loved how fast-paced the book was. I love that it just got to where it needed to go. I loved how slow the romance was, because I like romance, but I don't like it when it immediately comes in and it's unexplained and it doesn't make sense. That really kind of pisses me off in books, because I don't like read books just for the romance. I like the other stuff more. But I felt like this was really good for it. I liked how Rochelle wrote the characters. There's friendships in here that are amazing, and I can't wait to read the next 2 books. It's going to be a companion series, and I think I know who the books are going to be about. I'm hoping I'm correct, because that will not be a letdown. But I really loved the world. It's like a fantasy world, but really it's kind of like our world, just with different names. And I feel like things are going to be introduced later on that I can't wait to. Like, I really can't wait for the next freaking book. Like, I am dying over here. I want it already. It was so good. I loved it so much. It's A Study in Charlotte by A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. Didn't get the name right there. But this is about Watson and Charlotte Holmes. I think his name is James Watson. I always forget names, but I call him Watson. But it's about the great-great-great-great-grandchildren or great-great-great-grandchildren, something like that, of Holmes and Watson. The stories are real. Watson wrote the stories. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was just the publisher, so they published it under his name. And it's about the, the great-great-great-grandchildren. And James Watson gets sent over to Connecticut for a prep school in Sherringford. Sherringford is, I think, the name of the prep school. Yes, it is. And there he meets Charlotte Holmes, and everyone's really excited to see a Holmes and a Watson together. James has heard stories about Charlotte this whole life, but his family doesn't really care for Charlotte, and they kind of put up with the Holmeses type thing. It's really, if you like Sherlock Holmes, like, I think you'd really enjoy this. But anyway. And the thing is, they're being framed for murder. It was so good. First off, I have to say what I think I really loved about this more than anything was the writing. The writing is amazing. It's paced, not where it's all faster, it's all slow. It's like a slow burning and then it picks up a little and then it kind of slow burns again and then it picks up again and it keeps you going. I like that she went there with a lot of the things that she talks about, because if you guys know Holmes, you know Holmeses usually have, like in any version, well, Holmes, he had a drug problem. That's irrelevant here, and I love that they didn't like shy away from it just because it's a young adult. But even though it's short, like I would have loved this if this was like a million more pages longer, like that would have been great. But it's a lot of fun. I loved James, I loved Charlotte, I loved that, even though it took me a while actually to like get in the hang of like, okay, I like Charlotte. I immediately after a while I was like, yeah, no, she's freaking awesome. I love it, and it's so good. Number 2. I hope I've been going backwards. If not, this is number 2. That is Voyager by Diana Gabaldon. This had to be on here. On like seriously, how could it not? But I can't really give you like, wow, my voice did a really weird high-pitched squeaky thing there. I can't really go into details about what this is about because it's the 3rd book in a series. Oh, yes, it was the fattest of the ones I've read, but seriously, these are like, oh, they're just so good. But, you know, I love how it continued. Something that I love about this is each book has a different plot in a way, but it's just driven so well and it takes off so well that it's like, yes, give me all of it. The feels, the action, the romance, I love it. How could you not like Jamie and Claire? They are literally my #1 fictional character, like couple. I love them so much, but I think Diana Gabaldon's writing is just so beautiful, and it is when you know you're reading a very slow book, but it's still just so good. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and you never know what the hell's gonna happen with these books. And #1 will not be a shocker if you know me, because this is my all-time favorite series ever, over Outlander. I love this series so much. #1, for those of you who know me, is Morning Star by Pierce Brown, which is the end of the first trilogy in the Red Rising world, which I'm super excited. I think it's Iron Gold. I can't wait for that. But anyway, this is the concluding book to the Red Rising trilogy, and Red Rising is about a boy named Darrow who lives in a color-coded society. He's a red, which is the lowest you could be, and there's gold, and he's transformed into a gold, and he just gets thrust into this world. What I love about this, the whole trilogy, is Darrow is imperfect. He is not your typical like protagonist where, oh, it doesn't matter what wrong they can do. They think it's fine. They never see the mistakes. No, he sees his mistakes and he dwells in those mistakes because he doesn't want to make them again. And I love that. That's a realistic person who has a heart. Okay? Like, and it's just, and not just that, but like, the fight scenes and the blood and the gore, it's just like perfection. And this book, oh, was such a, I've never ever been so satisfied finishing a trilogy, a series, anything. Like, this is the most perfect, satisfying, like no complaints finish to a series ever, and I just love it. It's sci-fi slash like kind of dystopian. But if you like that, please read this. And if you hate it, it's totally fine. You can comment it down below. But I love this, and it was not a disappointment. I can't wait for the next trilogy. I'm so excited we're going to get more in the same world. But anyway, those were my favorite books I've read so far this year. And again, in the next 4 months, so we're at month 3 in May, June, July, August. In August, I'll be doing my next one. Yeah, and then December will be my last one, and then in the beginning of 2017, I'm gonna look at all my favorites that I have made a favorite, and then just kind of, you know, give you a top 10 out of them, because I want to do these a lot for myself. But again, I'm really bad at just like picking one favorite, or, you know, if you read so many number of books, it's hard to even pick out just 10 favorites if you've read 50, 60, or 70 books. But anyway, those were my favorites. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!